And joining us now is Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, who's been one of the key players on the issue of energy and climate legislation that the president spent so much of the speech talking about tonight. Senator, do you expect that this long and very passionate appeal to Congress to act now is going to have any effect?
You know, I really don't know. If you're asking about pricing carbon, that's tough politics apart from the oil spill. If you brought the Waxman, Markey, Kerry, Boxer bill to the floor to get 40-something votes, what I try to do with Senator Lieberman and Kerry is to look at an old problem a new way. How can you price carbon and make it more business friendly? The construct I came up with, let's expand offshore drilling because we're going to need more domestic supply to break our dependency on foreign oil. Let's have a renaissance of nuclear power and preempt the EPA so the business community can only be regulated by Congress, and for that I'm willing to price carbon. My chances of getting expanded drilling with revenue sharing now is zero. So one of the primary reasons I got involved in the debate has been compromise. So I think you're in a fallback position now.
Let me ask you about the carbon pricing. One of the things that I'm hearing Democrats talk about is the potential for a narrower approach to that you and I discussed a couple of weeks ago, that is only utilities.
Right.
If they propose that this year and narrow it down, involve some of the energy efficiency standards that your colleague Senator Lugar has proposed, could you get behind that effort in a much reduced form?
I'd like to see what it is, because the Kerry-Lieberman-Graham approach has been fairly dramatically changed. Let's say you take offshore drilling off the table and you went to a utility-only approach in terms of pricing carbon.
Which the industry supports.
Yeah, they do, but they get money from the transportation sector. Now, the transportation sector is going to have to withstand scrutiny. All you truckers and all you contractors are going to revolt when they hear that their gas and diesel prices are going to go up to help utilities meet a carbon price. So what I think we're going to probably have to do is look at recasting or renegotiating a utility-only bill, understanding that transportation is not going to quietly pay a bunch of money to utility companies. You can, in my view, lower emissions on the transportation side, break your dependency on foreign oil substantially without pricing carbon. But on the utility side, wind, solar, nuclear, clean coal has no future until you put a price on dirty coal. And to the coal industry who may be listening, you will never build another coal plant in this country until you get the EPA preempted and you price carbon in a way to make clean coal a viable alternative.
Well, I want to make sure I understand where you are right now, because we talked about this in the context of 2011 after the election. If they strip down that Kerry-Lieberman-Graham initial draft and propose an energy bill that has a utilities-only cap, is that something potentially you could support this year?
I'd like to see how it was. Yes, how it was created. Do you still preempt the EPA? Do you have $54 billion in loan guarantees for nuclear power? Can you keep that construct together? How would you redesign a utility-only bill, knowing that the money in transportation that's there today may not be there at the end of the day, because the transportation sector is not going to allow you to increase their cost of doing business to give it to the utilities. So I'd like to see how you could combine these concepts.
If you're willing to consider that this year, I think that's a bit of news.
Well, you know, I'm willing to consider
Suggest
anything.
It's not impossible this year.
You got to get more people than me. I'm one of 100 votes. If you can get other people thinking along those lines, I'm open-minded to doing it now, next year, whenever we can do it. The president's right about one thing. This country needs a vision when it comes to our dependency on foreign oil. The green technology that's going to be developed will either be developed in America, China, and with a rational, comprehensive energy policy, we can lead the world in terms of innovation. We can reduce our dependency on foreign oil and clean up the air, but we're never going to pass a bill that's about the polar bear. We can pass a bill that's about jobs, clean air, and energy independence.
Senator Lindsey Graham, thanks so much for being with us. Now let's go back to